After discussing the history, we are moving toward the second part of our lecture, that is mental status examination. Before I really go to in detail of mental status examination, I would love to mention about history. History is a stable document. It cannot be changed. It will remain unchanged. Once you have taken the history from patient's file or patient tenant, it cannot be changed. And mental status examination is a snapshot. It can be changed from day to day or hour to hour. If patient is mute or refuse to give the history, then an examiner or interviewer can obtain the information through careful observation while assessing the different components of mental status examination. So, what is mental status examination? Mental status examination is a systematic approach to assess the current psychiatric patient's condition, current patient's mental status. So here are few components we can assess the mental status examination while using these components. First of all, general description. General description. Second is that perception, and then thinking. Fourth one is that emotional state, and also cognitive function. So these are the components to assess the mental status examination. So through these components, an examiner or interviewer can assess the patient's mental status. So first of all, we will move towards the general description. In general description, a word aims. We should keep in mind this word aims. What does it mean? A for appearance, I for interaction with an examiner of patient, M for motor activity, S for speech. So this is the word aims, and we can assess while assessing the mental status examination. First we will discuss appearance. What is appearance? Appearance, we will see when at the time of interview we can see the patient's apparent age, that what is the actual age of that patient, how is he looking, how is she looking. So record apparent age, as he is looking according to her or his age. And the second thing is that this is the first point, this is the second point while while assessing the appearance portion. So the second is that grooming and hygiene. According to grooming or hygiene, is patient hygienic, unkempt, neat and clean, or appropriate dressing. What is the dressing as he or she dressed up. And third one is that facial expression. Facial expression are flat expression, are appropriate, are blunted. What are the facial expression? And fourth is that maintain eye contact. What is the eye contact of that patient? Is he staring, mute, excessive eye contact, staring, or just there is no having any eye contact. So these things we can assess while utilizing this component appearance. And the last thing in appearance, that is nutritional status. In nutritional status, we can see that patient either healthy unhealthy or malnourished or something else. So these are the components. And moving towards the second component of general description, that is interaction. Assessing the interaction of patient with examiner, we can see the patient's facial expression and attitude towards the examiner. Facial expression and attitude towards the examiner. Either patient is interested, non-interested, bored, how the behavior of that patient is friendly, cooperating. These things can be assessed while utilizing this component interaction. So either patient is interested, non-interested, boring, friendly, or cooperating, or bizarre behavior. The third one is that motor activity. Third point of general description, that is motor activity, the patient is expressed by him or herself through motor activities. So what are the component in this motor activity? We can assess either patient is hyperactive or hypoactive, lethargic, restlessness. These things can be noted in patients while examining the patient, while assessing the mental status examination in motor activity, and there are few terms regarding this: hyperactive, hypoactive, lethargic, and restlessness. There are few terms we can assess the patient's behavior or motor activity. One of them, that is tics, echopraxia, echolalia, vexiflexibility. These four terms we will discuss one by one. The one is that tics. Tics is the repetitive, involuntary vocal or motor activity, that is shrugging the shoulder, blinking the eye, raising the eyebrow, turning or jerking the neck. So these are included in tics. Second is that echopraxia. Echopraxia. In this term, the patient is imitate or copying the action of an examiner. Imitate the actions. Third one is that echolalia. Echolalia is the repeating the words of an examiner. So there is a difference between these two terms, echopraxia and echolalia. In echopraxia, patient imitate or copying the actions of an examiner, while in echolalia, patient repeating the words of an examiner. So praxia means action, lalia means words, and echo means same. So this is the difference. Fourth one is that flexibility. In vexiflexibility, patient is sitting in odd or unusual posture or position and remain in that position for several hours or minutes or several times. So these are the terms which we can assess the motor activity while assessing the mental status examination. Point of general description, that is speech. While assessing the speech, we can see the following things. One of them is patient relevant on talk or not? Relevance. And second is that initiation. Either patient start spontaneously or speak spontaneously or speak when spoken. Initiation. And the third thing is that the rate of speech, low or high rate, volume or amount of speech. These things can be noted while assessing the portion speech in general description. And the last one is that characteristics. What are the characteristics of speech? What are the quality of the speech? Is pressured speech? Either patient is pressured while talking or slurred speech or stuttering or patient is talkative or mute or something else. These are the components of general description while assessing the mental status examination. Now we are moving towards the feeling state. What is the next stage? What is the next state, next component, that is feeling.